Folks, welcome back to West Texas. It is finally spring and March and the snow has finally gone, so we can get on with some field work. We don't have anything to do in our fields at the moment, so I've got a bunch of contracts lined up. I've actually done a bunch of them already, so you can see we have a whole load of fertilizing contracts that we have already done. I have 3 more fertilizing contracts left to do. And then there's this guy, potato sowing again. I'm not sure how well this video is going to go down, but field 7 is massive. So we are going to try and run 6 potato planters to get that field planted. It's going to pay us nearly $500,000. Forgotten to change to dollars again. I will learn. Pretty sure that means I've just recorded part of the progression video in pounds as well. So yeah, it's going to pay us $460,000. It's going to cost us a bit in leasing equipment and buying the potatoes to plant. But my goal is from the contracts to earn enough to then buy field 7, which is a lot of money. We may have to borrow some money to buy this. I don't know. But I'd really like to do the potato harvest on there. And when we did the big potato planting contract up here, it didn't grow as potatoes. Something weird happened and it changed. So we are going to try plant this guy with potatoes. That should get us, I think, to about 1.8 million. So we're going to be about 1.5 million short. So we may then borrow that money to buy this field, to do the rest of the work on it and grow it and harvest it. Let's get the sprayer opening up while we talk. The other thing, I guess, is through the winter we have started selling milk. Yesterday I sold $250,000 worth of milk from the 3 pens that we've got. We also sold $400,000 worth of manure and slurry. As soon as the snow cleared, I could get rid of the massive backlog of manure that we had, and then we've sold a bit more today. So I'm not worried that if we have to borrow some more money, we can pay it back. And we've started to pay back our huge loan, so that's probably not going to be a massive problem. So let's get this first contract. Our first contract for the video going. So we've still got field 19 and field 36 to do. I'm actually going to do 2 headlands, although it will make the up down rows quite small. It will keep us away from this fence. So let's get that going. And we're then going to jump over to the farm. So the potatoes, RC potatoes, will be delivered to the farm. And then the store are going to deliver all of the stuff that we need to rent over to the field. As last time, I'm going to be using the lizard pallet, pig food pallets, which give you potatoes as well. We don't need wrap. We do on bulk. So we need, I think this trailer holds about 14 pallets. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, I think that's 14. And we're going to auto load them because life is too short. Obviously that costs, it holds 18 pallets. So we need to buy a few more. That cost us a fair bit. I did buy 14. Let's buy 4 more. I suspect we only need to do at least 1 more load of pallets of potatoes. 2, 3, 4. We also have some left over from the last time we did this, which is stored over in the yard, which we may pick up as well. So let's head down to field 7, and then we're going to get set up with leasing a few tractors and a few potato planters. By a few I mean 6. think 6 is a good number. And we'll get this going. The field 7 I think is one of the biggest fields on the map. For some reason when I was planning this video I didn't think we were quite so short on the cash front for paying for it. Maybe we shouldn't have paid the $1.5 million off the big loan that we have, but we can just re-borrow it for the purposes of doing something that I enjoy. Yes, I enjoy potatoes. So field 7 is just here. It is huge. It does come with quite a lot of land, which obviously we can mow to make cow feed, which is a bonus. It also comes with this big shed. I don't know if this big shed opens or not. It does. So it comes with this big shed as well, which is quite cool. We could maybe use that to store the potatoes if we're not selling them straight away. And the farmers left some other bits and pieces laying around. I don't think that's an actual silo. I think it's probably decommissioned, shall we say. I think that somewhere over here is a good point for us to set up the lorry to fill from. So we'll be using course plate to run the planters and the resupply. And then let's set up a store delivery point here. So the store are going to deliver everything we need to the field for us because they're nice. So I can't remember. Oh, we could go case. It's probably not realistic to lease a bunch of those, is it? Nah. So if we go into medium tractors, I think we're going to run with the tractor that we used last time, the little field boss. What I can't remember is how much horsepower we need for the planter. So we're going with the Grimmy 6-meter planter as well, which is only 100 horsepower. So we can go for the smallest of the whites. I think 2-wheel drive will probably be okay as well. Maybe we'll put double row crops on the back. And that's $1,600 to lease, and the hourly fee's not too bad. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a nice fleet of white tractors that the dealer has kindly provided, and I think actually what we'll do is we'll shift the store delivery point over to here, and we'll lease the 6 potato planters. These are $3,000 a piece, and they cost a bit more an hour to run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I guess the other 2 are the other side of the lorry. Yes. So we should probably put a front weight on the tractors as well. But, oh well. What we do need, they do sound nice. What we do need to do is unload the. And so if we do, there we go. Get those so that we can use them. Yeah, hopefully you haven't all switched off at this point. I know some people don't like contracts, particularly potato planting contracts. Not kind of nutter enjoys planting potatoes. So I've got the bulk fill mod enabled on here, which means that it will take from several pallets off of the back of the semi. So you sure it's got clockwise, doesn't it? So we just go over this way a bit. Wait in a bit because we're going to have 6 tractor widths of. Let's see if we can get course play set up. And then I'll probably just get all of this. So cool, that first fertilising contract has finished. That's field 7. So it's one of the things that I've seen on this map quite a lot, is that a lot of the field paths aren't defined. We're only going to do one headland because we're going to have 6 tools, which means that's a 36 metre wide headland. I don't think we need to do anything else particularly, and we'll see what courseplay manages. Yeah, I don't like that. I'd rather be going the other way. So we want we don't want longest edge because it's round. We're going to be about 15 degrees. I'm trying to line up with this run along the path for the pivot. Not 15 degrees. Let's try 30. I am quite impressed that courseplay manages to cope with something like the pivot pointing into the field. That looks okay. We might just struggle with getting around that bit, but I'm going to go with that. Actually, if we go into course generation and click on seed usage, potatoes, we're going to need 152,000 litres of potatoes. I'm going to make a note of that because then I can work out how many pallets of potatoes we're going to need. And it's going that way. Is it going to break it if I set it to counterclockwise? No, so we're going to go with that. And we're going to save that as field 7 potatoes. Close to how you spell potatoes. Right, let me grab the other 6 tractors and we'll get all this staged, and then I'll come back and we'll get started. So I've got all 6 tractors loaded up and 5 of them are in place. What I need to do is record the course to load and unload the seeders. So we're just going to do that as a bit of a loop. Hopefully that means that the tractors can easily find it to wherever they are in the field, which is kind of why I started it just past the pivot, because then they should be able to drive to it from anywhere without crashing into the pivot, hopefully. This worked last time, so we will see if it works this time. I know it's a bit cheaty what I'm doing. I'm basically getting paid $500,000 to plant a field, and then I'm going to buy the field off them. Yeah, it's a bit unethical, maybe. I may ponder that some more actually before we get around to buying it. Right, what I'm going to do is put a waypoint there, and then do a really bad job of driving away from the semi. So actually what I'm going to do is just pull that out of the way. It's probably a good idea anyway. I found when I was doing this last time that I had to move the semi occasionally that was doing the resupply, just because the tractors couldn't quite get the trigger. I'm hoping that with the bulk fill mod that's less of an issue. So I've also worked out that we're going to need just over 36 pallets of potatoes to complete this contract. I don't know if it says in our finances what we spent on. It'll be in other costs probably. No, because that's vehicle leasing. Oh, no, yeah, $16,000 on buying the potatoes. So it's going to be about $32,000 of potatoes plus all the leasing costs to get this job done. That doesn't justify the unethical thing that I'm doing, but you know. So if we save that as field 7, spot refill. And then we need to get all of these set up on Courseplay, which I haven't done yet. The Patriot is on its second of 3 fertilising contracts we have to do. I'm tempted to let that finish before we set these 6 off on Courseplay, because otherwise the lag might go a bit nuts. Might be okay while they're just running, but once they get to the point where they're calculating how to get to the refill, that might start to just struggle a little bit. But is that not a fine fleet of tractors? I do like that white tractor. Maybe it'll come to FS19, who knows? And so one of the problems I had doing this last time was around the convoy settings. So we're just going to append the F7 refill course. And then if we add a field type of potatoes, that should work. We'll go with a longish convoy distance. He's going to be left. No, he's going to be right. He's going to be the furthest right though. He's going to be right number 3, I believe. Whack him up a little bit. And hit drive course, and we'll see if we've got at least part of it right. So that's number 1 going. And let's repeat the process. So I'm not going to show you all of this, by the way. F7 seed, is that what I called it? I'm not sure. So let's just... yeah, no, because that's got the re-headlands on it. Field 7 potatoes, that, of course that's what I called it. And then we want to add in the spud refill. And change it to field work, and change that to right number 2. And put his convoy mode on. Go first waypoint, and bang! Hopefully we can get a bit slicker with this now. You. Field work. Convoy mode. Right one. First waypoint. Drive course. I'm just waiting to see how long the time is going to be. Without it needing to do refill. So an hour and a quarter, that's not as bad as I thought actually. I guess having 6 planters running is the way to do potatoes on a big scale. I hope the refill works, so we want left 1. If not, what I may do is manage the refills myself. Missed. There we go. So probably going to have to wait a little while for the next one to get far enough ahead. Oh no, he's good. He's off. Or she. Didn't really look. So field work. Convoy mode. Let's load the courses first. I forgot to add fill types to the others, so we'll need to go and do that. It'll be the left 1, right? Left 2. Drive course. Almost there. Field work. Convoy mode with fill type potatoes and left 3. Did I put convoy mode on? I did. First waypoint, drive course. So the first one is a good third of the way around the field already. Right. So let me check. I added potatoes to you. Cool, I can do it while they're on the move. It's good. Oh, that one's done. I'll just get this guy down to the next contract and going, and I'll be back. But that's the last fertilising contract. It is running, and you can see we have our nice convoy of 6 white tractors running around doing the potato planting contract. Sorry if the squeaks came through there, I was just getting comfortable in the chair. We are down to 30% already on the first planter, so I don't think it will be long before they need to do a refill. They don't hold that much. It's 3 and a bit thousand litres, I think maybe 4,000 litres in money that I understand. So yeah, they're going to need to refill quite a few times, and the Patriot's got stuck. Let's go see what the Patriot's up to. There we go. Someone didn't remember that this field has power poles in it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to swap to last used position, which hopefully will mean that we can get a course which will just account for the power poles and keep going. So if we bring up the map now, and I do next closest waypoint, that should sort itself out, hopefully. Please, yes, please, please, please don't get stuck. Please don't get stuck. Wow, you're doing a good job. Yes, cool. Hopefully that's okay. That's only going to take about 10 minutes to run through, so if we go back with our lead white, he's down to 15% of potatoes, which probably won't take too long. He's only got 500 litres left, and we'll see how he does getting to the refill point. At that point, I'm going to put this into more of a montagey time-lapse video, probably all the way till the end of this contract, I think, or unless I think of anything interesting to say. Actually, while this guy's running through, what I will do is point out that we've had a lot of calves in the pens that are having calves, and probably a day away, maybe 2 days away from moving them into a new pen. I've got 2 of the pens on the other side of the yard set up ready, and we'll be moving those out to one of the other pens. We've got a few males now as well that we could run over to the meat processing factory. I just think I did drop a load off, and so we probably have a full load of meat pallets waiting over there for us. They're keeping them in the refrigerated storage, so we don't have to worry too much about that. I had a play with the NMC strappable pallet. Can't remember where it is in the categories, but this seems like a really good way of getting the meat packs to the shop. So these, you can strap things onto this, and then you can pick it up. Obviously they're light enough that you can pick up by hand, so we can fill one of these up, put it in the back of the pickup, and then I can actually lift that out and it will sell. And perfectly timed, our first white is off to try and refill. Hopefully we won't end up with a traffic jam at the refill trailer. I'm not sure. They all look like they are pausing on convoy mode, which might not be a problem. We'll see how that goes. I might end up switching convoy mode off. I think that's something that I had to do on the last time that I tried this with just 3, because it's quite a long journey to refill. So the other option is that I switch the refill bit off and I take the semi to the whites. That might work better. You see the semi is much faster. We could push up the field speed a bit to their max 21 miles an hour. But we're just going to ride along with him and see how this goes for the first refill. Ride along with her and see how this goes for the first refill. Yeah, I do wonder whether the option of taking the truck to the planters might be a lot quicker, because then I could just run down the whole row of 6, refill them all and get them going again, because obviously they're all sitting waiting for this one to refill, and then the rest of them are going to need to do that as well. So that's going to add quite a lot into our hour and a bit time to run the course. I'm going to see if this works, and then I think I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take the truck to the planters, which means we'll need to edit all of the courses, but I can do that while this one's running back. So this is more of a proof of concept, I think. Okay, you've put in 5 litres of potatoes. Now if we just back up a bit, they're filling up. And off they go. So yeah, I'm going to the cases. The Patriot is still going. What I probably need to do actually is go right to the end of the row and stop the driver, and you're right 3 left. Clear the course off, load that course, put you back to right 3, next closest waypoint, and then leave you there, and do the same with this one. So this is going to be left 2, so stop driver, because otherwise they'll start to run into each other, I think. That's why I'm doing this. Left 2, and then leave you, stop driver, and delete, and load, and you must be the left 1. Next closest waypoint, and then you can stop, and close, and reload, and you must be right 1. Well, next closest waypoint, and stop you, load the course, you're going to be right 2. Next closest waypoint, and this guy, I'm going to take over at this point, and we cleared off the course, so we can do that, and here's right 3. Closest waypoint. Yeah, and I think this is going to be much quicker, particularly as I think Courseplay will auto refill them for me if I get the semi close enough, and I can just run inside the line. And try and keep them filled up and moving. Obviously we don't have the right multi-terrain angle on here to support getting nice neat rows, but it might look better when they're finished. So it's so weird that I picked effectively the last one. So this one will empty very quickly. Do they all have convoy mode on still? I think they do. But once they empty, what I'll do is I'll fill them up from the back, or from the front actually. Next closest waypoint. Next closest waypoint. So I do find these kind of exercises in pushing courseplay quite interesting. So we need to strap those down and start to head round to the planters that are going to need filling, because the second one is down to 1% already. I'm kind of hoping that when I drive next to them, they will decide they want to refill themselves. Maybe I add a fill type. It's got fill type potatoes. So what we probably have to do is stop driver, refill. This will still be quicker than getting them to do it automatically. Not quite close enough to refill. I'm tabbing just because it's easier to get in the right vehicle. Oh, there we go. So I was just wondering why that one wasn't setting off. It was less than 100 meters, so it's down to 8%. So we'll just kind of follow along and wait for them to stop when they run out of potatoes, and then I think at that point we'll you get the idea of what I'm going to be doing. That's the fertilizing contracts finished, which is quite nice. It's a shame that courseplay won't refill. If anyone knows how to make courseplay refill in that situation, that would be kind of cool. So just let them run till they're empty. Which is not going to be long. And the very first tractor has almost finished the headland, which is cool. I don't know why I've got courseplay up on here. So we can do stop driver, refill. I know why it waited, because the other one will keep coming now. Drive course. Yes, the other one's now going to wait for the 100-meter gap. Let's jump over and stop this guy, and I'm going to run him back to the yard separately off camera, I think. Might actually be able to auto drive him back to the yard, but what I want to do is claim all those fertilizing contracts that we've done. So we're on $941,000. So it's about $300,000. You can see our money is going down quite quickly with the wages from courseplay. But I'll check back in a bit and let you know how this contract is running. And I'll probably do some kind of montagey, time-lapsey thing in between. We got our windows down, driving down the 405, sing along to the radio.
gonna make it someday. Nothing's gonna get in our way. We will be the biggest band in town. Round and round the world we'll go, putting on the greatest show. So make sure that you don't miss out, just be there. We're taking our shot, bring what you got. We're going all the way to the top. We will hear the sound of 1 million people screaming our names when we're backstage. We'll play loud, surfing the crowd. Everybody's jumping around. Yeah, that's the place where I wanna be. Going on stage, headline on a Saturday night. Oh, 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 Saturday night. Oh, oh, oh. I'm gonna quit my job. Never wanna have no boss.
So you will have just seen a montage time-lapsey thing of us running this monster contract. It went really well, actually. Bringing the lorry into the field, semi into the field to refill worked really well. One tractor would auto refill from the pallets, the other 5 would not. Don't know why, don't know what the difference was, but we are done. It's taken, as you can see on the tractor, 1.7 hours, so the leasing costs weren't too bad. You will have also seen me massively increase our loan. I'm in euros again. I'm jumping around between videos that I'm recording. So you will have just seen me massively increase our loan to just over $1.75 million. That's on top of the 13.5 that we own. So we can buy this field. I'm doing the unethical thing. So we have just been paid. We have just been paid to plant potatoes in this field. I actually planted the whole field because I want to buy it. And now we're going to go and buy this field, and then we'll get rid of these. And I'm going to, last thing I'm going to do in today's video is head over to the meat processing store. So we now own field 7. Huge field, good yield potential. We need to scan and all that kind of stuff. I'm pretty confident that we'll quickly make that money back selling milk and manure. So next episode we're going to be looking at this field, getting it scanned. We're probably going to, before the crops come up, we'll chuck some lime on it, we'll get some fertilizer on it as well, and then move on to our other jobs. So quickly let's return all these leased items. I do like this tractor. I'm so tempted to buy one of these, except I have no reason to need it on the farm. Could maybe get rid of the Massey, but I'm not really using the Massey anymore. It's not grunty enough to feed because the feed trailer is quite heavy now. So I used the old Magnum for that. So that Massey's really not getting a lot of use. The little Fendt, actually, no. Oh, the little Fendt I used to tow around the conveyor belt between, was using it to clear manure obviously, but now using the the milling machine, so just using that to load silage at the moment, so that's got less use as well. So we're just going to quickly head back to the yard. I'm going to buy a couple of those NMC pallets that I mentioned, chuck them in the back of the pickup, and we'll head over to the meat processing plant where I believe we have a full load of meat waiting. And probably next episode, or maybe between episodes, I need to drop a load more male calves off there to bring some more money in. I do wonder whether it's worth the effort. So the 5 calves that I dropped off will bring in 10 grand. And yeah, I brought that the Phoenix truck just to do that. So I'm still quite a way in the hole from just buying that truck to run animals about, and I needed to move them about the yard anyway, so it's not really a problem. But I do wonder whether it's worth the effort, I guess. The problem is fully grown, and obviously they will use a lot of feed to end up fully grown. They're not going to make much more money, but there's a fair bit more work involved. So I'm hoping I can get 2 pallets in the back of this. So we're just going to whiz around the front. You can see this has still got snow on the tyres from the winter. Really impressed with the handling of the pickup. Turn off parking on here. It handled the snow brilliantly. So I'm just going to make sure I've got store deliveries set to here. I'm going to miss store deliveries. It's not a mod that I use a massive amount once I'm playing a game. I use it a lot to set up. I wonder if it's under MISC. Should have just done it the way I've been doing it before. And go to the manufacturer, NMC. Right. You can change all the color and design and stuff, but I'm just going to leave it as is. They're only $15 a piece. Hopefully we can fit 2 in the back of the truck once they're loaded up. Yeah, so you can pick those up easily. Don't have super strength on. So yeah, store deliveries is mostly a mod that I use for setting things up. So I have and not that it matters so much, but I have an edited version which doesn't charge you for delivery, so that for setup it doesn't cost me any money. It just makes things quicker. I'm going to miss that for FS22 until we get it back. Might be one of the tutorial type videos that I look at doing. They're not strapped in very well, are they? They're not strapped in at all. This could be fun. I guess they need something on them that is strappable so that they strap in. We might just have to take it a little bit easier on the way over. Let's just try again now there. That looks like they might have grabbed. Hopefully they have. We might just have to be a bit more sedate going over. Yeah, this store deliveries bit might be something that I'd look at in one of my tutorial videos, because you can probably go in to the map if it's anything like 19 and edit the store delivery point in the one of the bits of map information. I may end up looking at doing that. So we now own a potato field, a huge potato field. I'm probably going to find some, I think the biggest in-game one we have is a 3 meter. I'm probably going to look at getting a modified roper or holmer, so we get something like a 5 meter header. And if we run 6 of them like we did the planters, it won't take as long to harvest as people might think. And we're probably going to get, I think you get about 20 to 1 from planting to crop with potatoes, which is pretty generous, assuming each litre of potato is a potato plant that's going in. So we're going to end up with about 3 million litres of potatoes to deal with. I may end up using a small kit that I've not used before, so something like the roper mouse to pick them up. That might be quite cool. Rather than just dumping them in the silo, we've got a lot of spare land around that field, so when we eventually get around to harvesting them, we could just tip them out onto the ground and then use that to pick them up. It might be fun. The ethics of planting that field and getting paid to plant it and then buying it do annoy me a little bit. I have to admit. And I would have waited and, you know, let the farmer have a bit of a cooling off period. But with my experience, and maybe not brought it and just done the harvesting as a contract, but with the last one that I planted in the time-lapse video that I did last spring, the potatoes got replaced by something else, which meant I never got to do the potato planting contract, which was a bit annoying because that's what I wanted to do, or potato harvesting contract. So this way guarantees that I will get to do that and get to do a monster potato harvest on here. So one of the, before I started making videos, I still used to do kind of themed plays. And one of the ones I did was purely potatoes. Physics. So I was just farming potatoes and doing the premium potatoes with the global company, which I won't be doing on here because we'll have way too many. But I found I made a shed load of money. I did that across at least 2 maps. So I did Peterville, and which was very early on because I didn't realize it wasn't seasons compatible, and I was using seasons, but hey. And then I did it on Little Norton on the main farm on there, and ended up expanding into, in fact on both I had cattle, which I used to produce manure and slurry to do the fertilizing because it was before precision farming. So I did all of the fertilizing with manure and slurry, and he's on there 16. Yeah, so we can strap these down now. I don't remember how many straps there are on here. So there are 3. And then maybe slightly unrealistically, we can move this around. I'm sure before I actually picked it up, we just need to pick it up from the bottom, lift with the legs. That's mostly bollocks, by the way. Make sure your back is very, very strong. Probably put too many on that first one. We'll get this one in right in the back of the bed, and we'll put the other one at the front. Yeah, so I did a lot of potato harvesting, and I used I was harvesting, probably 2 million litres of potatoes a season using the little 4-strip potato harvester that I use on my other series. So I would run like 4 of those because they're cheap, and when I started out I did start from scratch, so I didn't have a lot of money. I started that series with an old Valtra and an old Ursus, I think, and ended up with 3 Deutz tractors, a 5, 6, 5, 7 and 9 series Deutzes. I had the big class tractor from the DLC. I can't remember what else I had. Where's a good price for me? I ended up doing really well on that series. It was really good fun. I got to the point where I was going to Applebee's this time, where I was using edited potato washing kit, because doing that scale of potato washing without some help was difficult. So to simulate that help, I made a very expensive version of the sorter and the washer, which had a daily charge as well to simulate staff, and I could just dump as much as I wanted into those and they would slowly process it. It was cool. It was good fun. So Applebee's, where would you like your steaks delivered? I'm guessing it's around the back. Yep. So from memory from my testing, we can just hold this in the sell point, and they go. So slick. So very slick. I'm glad these are always at the end of the video. There we go. So that's gone. How much we'll make off of these? Still not, I say, I'm still not convinced it's worth the effort. Come on. Come on. Could do with a little trailer to put these on. Probably mean they would get into the trigger as well. Go from behind. That's what she said. Right, so selling the meat made 7 grand from 5 cows. $1,500 a cow. Not convinced. Still not convinced that it's worth the effort. Anyway, I'm going to leave this here because it's probably long enough, and next time we'll sort out the precision farming stuff for our new field. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff, and I'll catch you next time on West Texas.